Yaron Brook answers, MGTOW does not lead to happiness. Now, the question I have in my little hamster brain, how can someone who believes in the Ayn Rand philosophy of objectivism not understand that MGTOW is exactly objectivism? Care about yourself, you know. Don't succumb to societal pressures and all of these other things. So let's hear what he has to say. He is incredibly wrong. He might not be quite understanding what MGTOW, men going their own way, means, but let's listen to what he has to say.
What do you think about men going their own way movement? How does it conflict with objectivist principles?
It doesn't. It is objectivist. That's the irony here, isn't it? It is an objectivist principle. And this guy used to be in charge of the Ayn Rand Society and everything, and he's like, well, you know,
Seems like there are legitimate concerns that the movement has arisen in response to the growing divide between men and women fueled by feminism and media, etc.
And the government. Let's not forget that little part, Mr. Brook. The government instituting gynocentric laws that disadvantage men. See, that's the biggest problem there.
But I'm not sure to what extent the movement branches off from well-reasoned argument and precisely how it might conflict with objectivist principles. I mean, I don't know. I mean, granted, I don't know too much about this movement, but
you do know about objectivism. You were the president of the frickin' board, right? So you're there. You're just not melding the two together, if I might say, Mr. Brook.
It's nuts, right? What would life be without women?
Well, we wouldn't be here as a species. You know, we kind of depend on each other a little bit.
Women are fantastic. Women are amazing.
Yeah, they can be, sure.
It would be boring.
Well, you got that right. Maybe not for the reason you're thinking, but yeah, it would be boring, wouldn't it, guys?
It would be uninteresting.
Oh, I love you, buddy. I love you.
What would life be without a spouse, a mate? You know, I don't know. I guess if you're gay, you could go off and just live in a male-only commune.
Why are you getting down on our gay brothers here, man? I don't quite understand. What does that have to do with MGTOW? Of course, gay guys are the original MGTOWs, if you think about it.
But, Colony, but what would be the point in life without a romantic relationship?
Listen to what he just said. What would be the point to life without a romantic relationship? You see, Mr. Brook, MGTOW does not just say, no, I'm not going to have relationships. They're just saying they're not going to get married. They're not going to be whatever. It's going their own way, doing what men want to do with their lives. Kind of like what Ayn Rand said in her philosophy, sort of. Do you see the connections here?
Without sex.
Nobody said MGTOW is going without sex. Sir, if I might correct you. They're going without marriage and the entanglements of the government in your life with respect to the gynocentric laws that have been passed by anyone? The patriarchy.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's actually men like you and me who allow this shit to happen because we're about the same age. I looked you up, okay? It's our fault, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, relationships in the era of Me Too and in the era of, you know, third wave or fourth wave or whatever you want to call it, feminism.
You see, Mr. Brook, when we were younger, 18, 19, you know, back in the late 70s, early 80s, feminism was kind of cutesy. Hey, you know, be politically correct and, you know, don't hang your calendars up and it was all this stuff. Feminism today is nothing to do with any of that because all that's been fixed. Pretty much everything feminism has been bitching about forever has been fixed. So now they're inventing new problems, such as Me Too. He talked to me and I'm not attracted to him. Rape! You don't understand the newest version of feminism, sir, because you're old. You see, if you don't pay attention to this stuff, you think, wow, feminism, Gloria Steinem, and hey, that was great, burning bras and shit. It has nothing to do with that anymore, and it hasn't for about 20 years.
And but relationships are hard anyway.
Relationships between men and women are tough enough, but then throw the government in there, and at her whim, your life can be ruined as a man. If you're involved in some kind of marriage situation, yeah, I see no reason why men shouldn't be walking away.
I think it's just a cop-out.
Oh, it's a cop-out. What are you, Alan Alda? Who are you?
Find a good woman.
Where? Where would that be?
Find good female friends.
Okay, where? Where would they be?
Find good female companionship.
I think the only female friends that men really actually have are the ones that maybe they grew up with, from kindergarten through high school and whatever. There's no reason for females to be your friend, especially when they're in a relationship, because they don't need you for anything. Do you understand that?
They're half the human race.
Yeah, so are men. So why are the laws biased against half of the human race? Think about it that way. If the laws were biased against, wasn't that what feminism was for?
You can't just give up on them.
But you see, now that it's affecting men, it's perfectly fine, because something 400 years ago wasn't to their liking looking through today's lens.
It's just silly.
Yeah, it is.
So the idea of criticizing the feminist movement when it's appropriate.
When is it ever appropriate to criticize women's, Mr. Brook? In today's day and age, never. Because women can do no wrong. They are angelic, sent from on high by God himself, because they're perfect.
It should be done. Criticizing them, I don't know, men when they, act ridiculously.
Yes, because men are just evil.
Or act as chauvinists in an irrational way.
Again, you're thinking 1970s. Male chauvinist pigs, Ms. Magazine, and all that bullshit. Feminism is not that anymore. As a matter of fact, it's quite socialist. You grew up as a socialist, and then you read Ayn Rand. And then you said, you know what? That socialism shit, I don't like that anymore. Do you see what you're saying?
Is legitimate. But you have to be objective, and you have to criticize what deserves criticizing. You can't criticize all women.
MGTOW is not. What we're saying is the government has changed the laws to the point that any woman at any time can literally ruin your life if you're engaged with them, some kind of relationship or marriage or whatever. You don't even have to be in. You could be just walking down the street or through the subway, like that one guy. He was 17 feet away from the woman, and she claimed he sexually assaulted her. Dude, you gotta wake up, man.
And you can't say because it's hard to date women, I'm just going to go off and never date again.
That's not what MGTOW is saying at all.
It's hard. So you have to figure it out. You have to figure out where better women are and what you're looking for in a woman.
What you're looking for in a woman, right. You do realize, Mr. Brook, you're not that old. That women have always had the say in that. Come on, man, really? Give up your man card, buddy.
What kind of relationship you want. And
what kind of relationship I want. How about none? Men going their own way. See, if they want to have a relationship, men go. They don't, they don't. So what? Isn't that objectivism?
For how long and how deep, and you have to figure all these things out. But I wouldn't run away from a feminist.
Again, Mr. Brook, you are looking at feminism through the lens of time. You're seeing the ladies in the 70s and 80s that were fighting for things that actually kind of made sense. Today's feminism has nothing to do. You might as well just call it something else, really.
If I was looking for a woman, I would definitely, Silicon Valley would be one of the places I would look for, and I'm sure a lot of them are feminist and politically correct and so on. Okay, well, educate them.
Did you hear what he just said? Educate them. Educate a radical feminist who their entire lives have been brainwashed into thinking men's is evil and girls is good and the government hates women and it's a patriarchy. Give that a shot.
Teach her that she's wrong.
Teach her that she's wrong. Oh my God, this guy is absolutely amazingly wrong about things, isn't he? I'll put all the links below. James Maxwell, thank you for listening.